the biggest thing for me is that I didn't like it's like he had a smile on his face walking off the field. And it's like, dude, you know who you are. You know what you do for this team and what difference you can make for this. This is a rivalry game. This is week 1. We're here at home. The next time we face this team, it's going to be in Dallas, which is always a problem to play at. Like, come on, we just won the Super Bowl last year. There's high expectations for us, and then you do that, and then you have a smirk walking off the field, walking back to the locker room. I mean, I guess maybe laugh it off. That's how you cope with it. But no, man, at the end of the day, don't like it. I'm curious to see what the NFL does for Jalen Carter, because there has been talks about, maybe possible suspensions. And now that's the other thing that you have to think about. It's not just the immediate effect that he caused for his team, but now it's the long-term effect. How many games is the NFL going to suspend him if there is a suspension? Hello, everyone, and welcome to the BeardZone Sports Talk. My name is David. I got Carlos as always. And gentlemen, we have finally arrived. The NFL season is here, and it has started off with a bang. Or should I say, a spit that was heard around the world Thursday night. We will dive into all of it. We're going to be covering some of the games. We're not going to be covering all of them, but we're going to be definitely covering the Thursday night game. Got to cover our Bucks. Got to cover the Miami Dolphins for Carlos, although I know he's
do we have to?
Yeah.
Do we have to do it?
Yeah, I know that he does not want to do that. So, but then we're also going to be covering we're going to be looking at some of the games that highlighted some rookies. So we're going to get the Cam Ward, Tennessee Titans, Broncos. We're going to get the Packers with the new Micah Parsons and the Detroit Lions. That Green Bay team looks really good. And then we're also going to be covering, the Steelers and the Jets. So sit back, enjoy. The NFL season has officially begun, and the Beard Zone is ready to bring you everything this NFL season has to bring. Before we get started, though, do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's going to be a wild and fun season. Carlos, let's just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off for you, sir. The Miami Dolphins are officially eliminated from the playoffs after week 1. So, I mean, what happened? I thought that this was going to be a great game going up against the Indianapolis Colts. They weren't sure who the quarterback was going to be, but man, that Daniel Jones-led Colts was everything that they were hoping for, and Miami just looked at a sink from the jump. I don't know exactly what happened. But break it down for us, Carlos.
They did, man, and I felt like this is kind of a trap game because it should have been it's like the game you're looking for. It's a tough game, but not too tough. You should get the win. You should be able to run your offense, but I feel like there are off-season distractions, and this being since the Colts owner died, this is that first game. Everybody's jacked up. You have every indie legend that can possibly be that's alive is there for halftime, and Danny Dimes. I'm not okay for anybody who tries to rip this apart. I am not saying Danny Dimes is an elite quarterback. I never thought he was a bad quarterback. I thought he was in a bad situation. He's in a good situation now. He's got an organization that loves him, that knows the game of football. Good offensive line, good running back, solid. Tyler Warren looked amazing. He did. So, but for the Dolphins, man, you're right. They're out of sync. Too many distractions, and the offensive line I was hoping was going to be better than what it looked, and it did not look good at all. What's going to suck as a Dolphin fan? We'll probably have 2 for 17 games, but the rest just isn't. Tyreek, not being a captain, that's just more drama. And I don't think Mike McDaniel has I honestly don't think Mike McDaniel. Unless they turn it around, maybe this is could be chalked up as a bad week. We have those. But if this continues, I saw somewhere where they were going to be like the 5th pick in the draft, and I was like, get out of here. You mean to tell me they're going to be 5-12? Get out of here. But right now, they're the worst team in the division. It looks like it. The back end of that, it's not good. Danny Dimes lit them up. The front four is not getting enough pressure.
I
I
was
mean, don't
gonna
get
ask you about that. This defense, this front seven is supposed to be the strength of this defense, and they didn't. They failed to make any sort of impression today.
well, the Colts have two good tackles, and they do
They
have good,
do.
but they didn't. They didn't make enough of an impact. Man, there's no excuse. They just play bad. That's all it is. Indy came to play. They had a lot going on. Probably, we'll see more as we go down the road with Indy. But I think just everywhere is play for Jim, win for Jim. Their
Yeah.
owner that passed. So could have been a lot of adrenaline on their part, but they just look bad. They didn't look good. Like I said, out of sync. I would like to say there's a bright spot somewhere in there, but there wasn't. Two quick turnovers with the fumble, the overthrow, interception to an open Tyreek Hill. Just not good, man. And then
No.
no game plan. I don't know what Mike McDaniel's doing. When he first came in, he had a game plan: rip the seams, throw it deep, and run those screens and get your best playmakers and get him to the outside. He wasn't a big inside guy, and all of a sudden, he decides, "Oh, we're not going to do what was successful." And we say that the defense is adjusted. Well, he's adjusted poorly, and he's not adjusting back. I go back to what got you to the dance, man, and made you a good coach. And maybe they got a lot of thinking to do, man. I at this rate, he's
Yeah.
not going to make it through the season.
No, I mean he won't. This was one of those games, and I can understand why you said it was a trap game because there's a lot of momentum, there's a lot of determination on the Colts side, especially with Jim Irsay's passing. They want to do this for him. It was Indianapolis. They have Danny Dimes now as the quarterback. But let's just talk about Danny Dimes really quick. The times that the Miami Dolphins were actually able to pressure him, here's a stat for you. He went 5 of 6 on his passes, 72 yards, and a touchdown. Danny Dimes looked good today. He made quick decisions. He looked comfortable in this offense. He was protected the majority, all of the game. Like I said, Miami was able to get some pressure on him, but for the most part, he was just able to sit back, pick apart this defense, and that's exactly what he did. And then when Jonathan Taylor's number was called, he was able to, rush for 71 yards off of 18 carries. And then Jones, on top of his passing, his one touchdown pass, he had 2 ground touchdowns. The guy looked really good, man. And like Tyler Warren, dude, 7 catches, 76 yards. The guy looked really, really good against this defense. It's week 1. It's hard, right? But we always want to overreact. And right now, the Miami Dolphins are not looking good. Hopefully, they can turn it around. But maybe we'll have an interim head coach by week 10. Who knows?
I mean, the Dolphins secondary, everybody knows, is a huge weakness. Other than Mika Fitzpatrick, they lost their 2 starting corners with Cadabo, Cam Smith. Like, they're devastated on the back end. So it kind of makes a little sense, but they didn't do a bad job stopping the run. They held Taylor to 3.9 yards per carry. They didn't. It's not like he broke away from them. I just think at some point they got demoralized and he got some stuff. But the front 5 is good. The 2 linebackers are good, but if they don't find something in the back, and I think they messed up. They bring in Judon. There's some corners out there. I don't care if they're B-level, Asante Samuel Jr. There's some guys out there that they might need to look at, or there's a trade somewhere that they're going to have to do. You've got an abundance of edge rushers. It may be time to part with them. One of them is not Chop Robinson, and I don't think Jalen Phillips is, but Bradley Chubb might be that guy if at some point if there's a team that's in dire need of somebody that can rush the passer. You might not get anybody now, but you might be able to get a pick, stop stocking up some draft picks, but it's not looking like this team's going to the playoffs. So I know it's week 1. It's doom gloom for me, but man, that was not good. It was not competitive. That's the problem I have. They weren't competitive.
No. No, it wasn't. It was definitely a rough week for any Dolphins fans. That is for sure. Fantastic week for for the Indianapolis Colts. Which really, what are the expectations for them? So I think that anytime that they can come up with a win this year, I think that they're gonna, call that, they're gonna have a little bit of a morale boost there. So,
Yeah.
but hey, congrats to the Indianapolis Colts. Congrats to Daniel Jones. Man, the guy, he looks so comfortable today. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So, well, let's go a little bit north and let's go to Tampa, where the Bucks were playing against the Falcons in Atlanta. Let me tell you something. The amount of f bombs and screaming that I did at my TV during the first two drives of that game was probably unhealthy for me. I can promise you that. I'm glad that I went to church this morning, but holy crap. You want to talk about a team that looked absolutely flat footed on the defensive side and just way out of sync. I mean, nothing was working offensively for this Tampa Bay team, and that Falcons defense looked really good. And Bijan Robinson was pretty impressive on that first two
Yeah.
drives. So, but they gathered it. They rallied. It was an ugly win, but a win is a win with the 23-20 victory over the divisional rivals Atlanta Falcons. Baker Mayfield, 167 yards, 3 touchdowns. Penix, man, he sliced and diced us for 298 and had a touchdown. Um, Outside of the production of Bijan Robinson in the receiving, we actually bottled him up pretty good in the rushing. He had 12 carries for only 24 yards. Bucky Irving, it wasn't a very favorable game for any running back rushing the ball. Now, in the passing game, both running backs had a receiving touchdown. But I want to talk about the guy who I said, why the hell are we drafting him? And that is Emeka Ibuka. And now I understand why. 4 catches, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of those touchdowns being the game winning touchdown to seal the victory for us there in Atlanta. So, man, it took a little bit of time. It took a little bit of time for this team to. I mean, you saw the rust on Baker early. I mean, he had a wide open touchdown to K Dot in there. I think it was in the second or third quarter, and he just overthrew him. He also had another on the same drive. He also had Sterling Shepard open for a first down, overthrew him. You could see that he wasn't in rhythm, right? But again, he rallied up. He ended up throwing for 3 touchdowns. He kind of locked in there towards the second half. My biggest concern from Tampa right now is still that secondary, man. That that secondary is, I don't even know what to say. I don't know if it's the play calling. I don't know what it is, but the fact that we have just wide open players over the middle, it seems like 80% of the time against us, is very frightening. And really, we don't have there's no reason why our interior defensive line should be the team lead in sacks. We need to get sacks off the edge, and that's just not happening. And that still wasn't happening today. Now, Hassan Riddick, veteran guy, came in this offseason. He did get a sack this afternoon, which is always good to see. But outside of that, there really wasn't a whole lot of pressure from the edge. It came from a lot of the interior from Kalijah Cansey and Vita Vea. So you want to see, I mean, you talk about edge rushers. We want to see more production off of the edge. Hopefully, Yaya Diaby can start to develop a little bit. I have high hopes for him, but I mean, you got to produce. Jamel Dean, dude, get him off the field. Just get him off the field, please. I can't. Every time that this guy, he's either causing a holding penalty, defensive pass interference. I like Zion McCollum over Jamel Dean as our number one guy. I think that that's who you should rock with. He plays very physical. He good. Gene has the slowest like hip rotation that I've ever seen. It's unreal. But what
McCollum
did you think
plays a
about this
lot.
game?
I mean,
McCollum does play a
he
lot. I mean,
plays a
McCollum does
lot.
play a lot. So and I like it when he does play. He's fantastic when he's out there on the field. There was also a couple of good highlights from the rookie Parrish that we got out of Kentucky. He made a huge third down tackle on a screen play. He was able to get through the blocks and get back there and tackle. I believe it was Drake London who caught the ball before he exited the game. But what did you see from this Tampa team and from the Falcons? Because honestly, I don't want to take anything away from the Falcons. I think if they can get that offense to stay consistent throughout the game, they can be a real problem.
Yeah, I think it's by far the best secondary in the conference. It is the best secondary in the conference, and it is one of the top 10 in the whole league. I mean, they've got great players on the back end. You see, it worries me in a little bit for the Bucs. You have a very young team in Atlanta, and it is a young team. And this could be almost a confidence booster for them. And I feel like Panthers, Saints, you can just go ahead. There'll be scrappy teams, but it's the NFL. Most teams are scrappy. So, I mean, Penix goes for almost 300. That's your guy from college there. So,
I know, man.
It's going to be interesting. Tampa is what their defense is. It's been like this probably for a couple of years now. The interior is great. They control the line of scrimmage well against the run. Probably not going to give up a lot, but against the pass, it's going to be rough. And I don't think Atlanta's offense is quite there yet. I think it's the BeardZone show, and it'll get there though. I think Drake London, he dropped a touchdown that he should have had.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I mean, it's week 1, so we see a lot of sloppy football out there. Yeah. So it's interesting. We'll see what these teams do, but the Bucs, I don't know what they need to adjust. They need to address that back end if they want to win in the playoffs. They're going to hit some teams, or they're going to have to get some lightning in a bottle that comes off the edge to help. I mean, like I said, they might get better, but that back end, they have to figure out how to get better because of Winfield, who got banged up last year, gets banged up again. There's words, I don't know if we can say all these words on here that are foul, but they're in real trouble at that point. He makes a big hit there at the end, prevents a big catch. So they got to clean that up. They're a good football team. This team is going to get better offensive. Emeka is as advertised, man. The Bucs saw something. Absolutely. They went after it, and I think Chris Godwin will just be an afterthought. It'll be great when he comes back, but he's got time. He's got 6 games to become the go-to. I think at some point, and this is going to be sad saying Bucs fans are going to be like, no. I think this kid is who Evans passes the torch to, and I don't think it's a couple of years down the road. I think you're going to see this kid come to the number 1. He's good. He's so smart, even his run blocking, and as much as we love Evans. I mean,
the touchdown pass to Bucky Irving, they actually went back and they played and they showed the IQ of Emeka when he was going and running his route. He did a shoulder check to the linebacker that was going to man up.
It's called
Bucky
offensive
Irving.
Pass interference, and it should have been a flag thrown.
It shouldn't have been flagged.
That is a pick. I was listening. The guy's like, that's called a pick, and it's offensive pass interference. That is against the rules. You can't. He stopped in his route.
They ran into each other.
He stopped in his route, and you're 100% right. He gave him a little shoulder check. That's the only way Bucky gets in. But it's it's not a smart play. He just got away with one. But he is a smart player. I don't want to take anything away from this guy, man. He's going to be good. And
yes,
I don't know where Chris Godwin goes when he comes back. Godwin's a slot. I think Emeka's a slot. I don't know. That's a Bucs champagne problem right there to figure out who goes where on there. I mean, you've got a young kid and you've got a receiver coming back that's been coming back from a bad injury. And I got to feel they're going to go with the young kid. But I feel like this is, you're as a Bucs fan, this is your Mike Evans moving to the future. I think what a debut for him. First catch, wasn't his first catch a touchdown? Wasn't that
his first catch was a touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, does it get better than that?
Half of his catches were touchdowns today. So
yeah, I don't know anything better.
And it was with 1 minute left on the clock. ran a beautiful route right into the end zone 1-on-1 against the defender, and Baker threw an absolute seam. I mean,
Yeah.
you couldn't have asked for a better pass, but the kid came up clutch. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch. This is why we trust. This is why you just got to trust Jason Light. I know what I was screaming at the TV saying, what the hell are we doing? But good night, man. This kid is going to be something fun to watch this year. So, well, let's go ahead and let's move on. And let's go back a little bit to the Thursday night game because, Carlos, I mentioned it earlier, the spit that started off the NFL season. And, I mean, man, Jalen Carter spits at Dak Prescott. Come to find out, Dak Prescott was the initial spitter. He spit, kind of at the feet of him, so to speak. And then obviously Carter retaliated and spit directly on Dak Prescott. So not a good look, but Dallas secondary, man, looked absolutely wonderful. You want to talk about a good secondary? That secondary is really good. They kept AJ Brown in check for only one catch. Jalen Hurts had to basically run the entire game. I mean, he was just
I
having
loved
to
it.
run. Yeah, well, absolutely. Any fantasy owner is going to love that.
I
So,
thought it was great game plan. Don't change it.
great game plan for them. So, but I mean, Philly ends up getting the win. It was one of those gritty. All these divisional games, man, they're just gritty. They're always down to the wire. It's two teams that just know each other, and there's a lot of history with these teams in the division, especially between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. But Philly gets the win there in Philly to start off 1-0, and Dallas, hey, CD had a great game. Unfortunately, he dropped that pass there at the end of the game that helped the Eagles seal it. But what did you take away from this? Because for me, man, I know that you guys lost Parsons, but dude, you got a hell of a secondary, man. I mean, a
They
really good
do.
secondary.
Yeah. Blandon Diggs is good, and honestly, the defense played pretty well. I don't think they missed Parsons at all. Kenny Clark did what Kenny Clark does and plays a good. Always plays a solid game. Actually, Dallas surprised me. They played better than I thought they were going to play. I really thought the Eagles would run away with it, but man, defending Super Bowl champions, and Philly does what it does. It AJ Brown doesn't get, if you're a fantasy owner for him, you hated this game plan, but Hurts, man, slowly he just manages the game and literally takes what they give him. They're going to give me I'm not going to force a ball. I'll run it for 15 yards. So, but very interesting way how to start this game off with Jalen Carter. I'm kind of he is. I don't. Is Carter that game changing guy? I mean, he's a beast in the middle. I just don't know if I want to say he is, but I also don't want to.
And the thing about it is, though, Carlos, is this is.
I just hate propping a guy who spits on somebody. I can't think of a lower thing.
You can't do that, man. Outside of if that's outside on the streets, man, that's assault at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You just don't spit on another human being. I don't care about what happened or anything else like that. I understand that we have now the footage of Dak spitting first, but it didn't go at the guy. It didn't spit right at his chest. He spit towards the ground. Is it disrespectful? Yeah. Should a quarterback of the NFL team be doing that? No. But Jalen Carter, I know you're young, but come on, man. Like you're a difference maker, right? And I mean, yes, there's plenty of depth on this defensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles. They were able to get the job done, but I think it would have been. I truly think it would have been a different game if Jalen Carter was in there, because I do think that he is that difference maker. And I mean, because Dak had a lot of time pretty much the entire game. There wasn't really a ton of pressure, and he was able to kind of slice and dice the Philadelphia secondary up there for the majority of the game. They ended up still losing the game, but you can't do that. You just can't do it.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I know CD has a big game. I thought they might get Pickens in more. Javonte Williams looked good at running back. I mean,
Javonte Williams looked fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I think that's where Jalen Carter was missed. I mean, if
Yeah.
Jalen Carter is in there, does Williams have that good of a game?
I don't think so because you
I
got to
don't think
double him
so.
up, and you don't have. I mean, you have the Bear on the other side, but he's just not Jalen Carter. So yeah, it's. I'm curious to see what the NFL does with him. Here's a question I got for you. You do that, and as a coach, I probably would have blew up on him right there, but I don't think it makes difference. Is he in the locker room at halftime when the team comes in? You think, or is he off
Oh,
somewhere else?
jeez, man,
Because
I don't
I mean,
know.
at some point, it has to be addressed, and I don't know. I feel like he's going to get a suspension out of this too. I don't. I understand Dak spit at the ground. I'm not in a way. It's going to sound like I'm defending Dak. I'm from Texas. That's pretty common in Texas. You spit at the ground. It's just a thing.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, when you blast one on him in front of the ref and everybody, like, come on, yeah, yeah. And he to me instigated the whole thing. He walks over to the huddle.
He
He's
does.
his whole team's huddled up on one side. He's just kind of moseying like a cow to that,
The biggest thing for me is that I didn't like his. It's like he had a smile on his face walking off the field, and it's like, dude, you know who you are. You know what you do for this team and what difference you can make for this. This is a rivalry game. This is week 1. We're here at home. The next time we face this team, it's going to be in Dallas, which is
yeah,
always a problem to play at. Like, come on, we just won the Super Bowl last year. There's high expectations for us, and then you do that, and then you have a smirk walking off the field, walking back to the locker room. I mean, I guess maybe laugh it off. That's how you cope with it. But no, man, at the end of the day, don't like it. I'm curious to see what the NFL does for Jalen Carter because there has been talks about, maybe possible suspensions. And now that's the other thing that you have to think about. It's not just the immediate effect that he caused for his team, but now it's the long-term effect. How many games is the NFL going to suspend him if there is a suspension? He'll
yeah, and
probably be fine for sure,
no, he will, and
right?
I think he'll get another game, but it's just a distraction for that team.
It
they're trying to
is.
make a back to back run, which is not easy. And it's a good
Mm-mm.
football team. It's just taking a lot away from the team because I thought Hurts played well. Um, they did what it was Eagles football. They ran the ball. They got they didn't. Saquon had a good game. Even Will Shipley had a good game as well. His little bit of time coming in as backup. So, but they ran for 158 yards. Hurts passed did not for that much, but it was effective when he did need to pass. He got the job done there. Dallas Goedert was a nice safety valve for him. So we'll see. And Dallas looked better than I thought. So we'll see how that carries over.
Dallas did look better than I thought. That secondary is going to be a real problem. I
Yeah.
mean, to be able to hold A.J. Brown to just one catch, and really, I mean, there was no one open the entire game for Jalen Hurts, and that's why he had so many rushing.
Just one target, not like a cat. Like he was like
Yeah, he was only
threw the
targeted
ball
one
to
time
him
too.
once. That to me is crazy. That AJ Brown's one of the top receivers in the league, and he only got
Yeah,
one target. That's crazy.
yeah, it is crazy. So let's go to another Sunday game here, and that's going to be the Steelers versus the Jets. And this is kind of the Freaky Friday game. We have Justin Fields, former quarterback last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know Russell Wilson was also there as well, but then on the other side you have the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers last year, and then both quarterbacks now are on the opposite team playing each other here in week 1. Aaron Rodgers goes into MetLife and gets the win. And in his post-game conference, he says, yeah, it felt good to be anybody that is involved with the Jets. So definitely had a little bit of spite there.
Yeah.
Dude, Aaron Rodgers, 244 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, come on, dude. Are we going to be getting a 5th MVP this year? I mean, holy crap. But let me tell you something. The Jets, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, what happened?
Both defenses. These are
What,
two good defenses, and
dude?
they didn't play any defense today.
There was no defense whatsoever today, and I mean, Fields actually looked really good. I think I really liked what Fields showed. But here's the thing: for the Jets, was it a close game against a team that everyone kind of had you losing to? Yes. You kept it close. Were there highlights? Absolutely. Were there bright spots to say, hey man, we could be, we could win some games this year? Absolutely. But the problem for the past couple of years with the New York Jets is that they cannot maintain leads. They cannot keep a lead once they have it. And Aaron Glenn comes in and he says that his mission is to change the narrative and to prove that they aren't the same old Jets. Well, that didn't happen today because there were several times today that you blew a lead. You blew 2 leads in the fourth quarter. In the same quarter, you blew 2 leads. You can't do that to win a football game.
No, they gave him 17 points in the fourth quarter. You can't. Yeah, you definitely can't do that.
You can't do that. So I say all of that to say, Jets, hey, lock in. If your offense is doing what it's supposed to do, you have a talented defense. There's so many good players on that defense, and now you have a defensive-minded head coach. Lock the frick in and just get the ball back to your offense. That's all you got to do. But for some reason or another, man, the Jets just seem to be the team to, hey, it's not over until, the clock hits 0. Let's just say that. So,
yeah.
It was definitely a game. Also, the hit that sealed the game from Jalen Ramsey to Garrett Wilson, holy crap. That was awesome. I love seeing that kind of football. Hard nose, hard hitting, tackling. He had a first down. The drive was going to continue. Garrett Wilson got blown up. Hey, Ramsey still got it. But what did you take from this team? What did you take from this game?
On Pittsburgh's side, you knew kind of what this offense was going to look like. It was going to be a lot of Justin Fields running around, and Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. All 3 of those guys had a really good day. Other than what do you have to worry about with the Jets? There's 3 guys, and I get it, it's 3 guys. So you put your best on Wilson, which is Ramsey, but I feel like, and I'm not trying to be salty because of the Dolphin thing. He makes a big play every now and then, but I don't think he's quite the same guy. I still think he's one of the better corners. But I just thought the defense would be able to, like, hey, let's stop one part of it. And honestly, Justin Fields actually played pretty good. They came after him.
He did.
He made good decisions. You can tell he's learned a little bit. And maybe his stint in Pittsburgh actually helped him. Maybe, with Arthur Smith and kind of not pushing the ball too much or doing something crazy, backyard football play. But he played well. Breece Hall looked good. I mean, the guy looked fast. He looked really fast again. And as a Dolphins fan, I don't want to see any of this. So, yeah, they look good. Pittsburgh, it kind of worries me about the defense a little bit. But Aaron Rodgers, I'll tell you one thing I took away from Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers looked like he was having fun. He looked like he liked football again.
He did.
He looked like he enjoyed playing the game of football. Was making some throws that, vintage Aaron Rodgers, showing off his touch and that arm. He's still got a good arm on him. But, it's good to see him having fun. And if he's having fun, that's good for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That means they're gonna win some games this year. We'll see how it keeps going for them. It was surprising, though, they didn't rush the ball better than what they did. We didn't see a lot of Caleb Johnson either. The rookie out of Iowa, I thought we would see a little more of him on first down and getting the ball. But, hey, Aaron Rodgers was probably like, we'll do that week 2, not week 1, coming out of here with a win. I hate this place. And somebody golf cart me in. I'm not running in there. I'm not blowing out another Achilles.
I will not hold an American flag, and I will not. Someone go out there and check the turf for me really quick, because I swear on everything they put a hex on me.
They won twice today, Pittsburgh, on the scoreboard, and Aaron Rodgers left there healthy. So that is a win-win for them. And
win-win.
He looked like he was having fun, man. I like the version of offensively the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jalen Warren, caught some good balls. Metcalf doing his thing, and Calvin Austin. I don't know where he decided to play football again. Playing well, well is doing well, man. So it was fun watching it. It's a good game to watch. It was a fun game.
It really was a fun game to watch. I mean, that's your electric back and forth, what is going on. But anytime that Aaron Rodgers is having fun out there, he's going to play good football, and it's always fun to see Aaron Rodgers play good football because the guy can spin that ball.
Yeah.
He still got it.
Yeah, he still got it.
He's definitely still got it. So, but let's go on. I'm gonna save the Packers and the Detroit Lions for last. It was an ugly game for Detroit, but I want to touch base on that. But I want to go to your guy Cam Ward. He had a rough NFL debut. He got sacked 6 times. I mean, the guy did not have any time back there in the pocket. He didn't turn the ball over as far as passing, but the last sack that he did suffer, that ultimately sealed the game, did end up being a fumble loss on him. But he only threw for 112 yards. Carlos, ready? The lead receiver for the Tennessee Titans. Do you want to take a guess on who it was? And do you want to take a guess at how many yards he had?
It's Tony Pollard with 29.
Oh my God. Dude, that is such a horrible, horrible day. I felt so bad for Cam Ward. He had 0 time. That Broncos defense was overwhelming today.
Here's the thing with Cam. I mean, Tennessee, you made the right choice. Tennessee fans, it's going to be, your future is going to be okay.
It's going to be
Trust
okay.
me. That guy, still cool. His team, the defense did play well. I mean, this is the number 1 defense in the league. Come on. I mean, they're the best, and he could have, for him, he did have a couple. Calvin Ridley kind of let him down today. He dropped a couple balls that they really needed. They were important throws for first downs, and he did it. I thought they ran the ball well. Tony Pollard ran the ball well today. He looked good. But Cam, nothing phases this guy. Nothing. He was still cool. Cam, I think, did learn today. This is the best defense he's going to see all year. But he is going to face the Texans too, which have a very good defense as well. He's got to learn some of the things he did in college he can't do in the pros. He was very good at baiting a defensive player to get really close to him that thinks that they're going to get a sack, and then he would spin away. Well, he learned today, I can still do that. The problem when I spun away is somebody else was there waiting on me. So he's going to have to learn some things. He's going to have to get the ball out a little faster. He's a rookie. And he's gonna, and you're going up against the best. He's going up a Hall of Fame head coach. The defense, man, you don't get a perfect storm for a rookie quarterback like he did. This is it. And he really, at the end of the day, the stats are going to show one thing. But the team was in it to the end, and at the end of the day, the win. That's what you're looking for, wins. And he kept everybody cool. And that guy, they'll be all right. They're still a little off, but not the day Cam Ward would have wanted, or me as a Hurricane fan would have wanted out of Cam. But to see that Cam Ward isn't phased by the best defense in the NFL, like he's still, his head's on straight. I think they got a winner in a quarterback there. They just need a little bit more talent.
I do. Yeah,
a little bit more talent.
They definitely need to get some weapons out there. I still have high hopes for Calvin Ridley, hopefully this year. I do have him on my fantasy league, so fingers crossed. But that is something that I did notice. I mean, listen, man, if I got hit the amount of times that Cam Ward got hit, I'd be like, what the hell are we doing? But he didn't. He didn't you never saw him flustered. You never saw him frustrated. He didn't show any signs of emotion. Now, not to say that he maybe wasn't feeling the emotion, because I'm sure that there was a level of frustration because you're a competitor at the end of the day, and you want to win football games, and that's who Cam Ward is. But you're right, man. This Broncos defense was overwhelming. absolutely overwhelming. This Broncos defense is going to be an absolute nightmare for anybody who faces them this entire year. And that's why I still have the Denver Broncos as a sleeper to win the AFC West. I know that they have to go through the Chiefs. I understand that. And the Chargers as well, which actually looked pretty good on the Friday night game.
Yeah, they look great. Yeah.
They looked really good at the Friday night game. But this I want to go to the offensive side of the ball with the Broncos. It's very clear they are going to be a run first team. And having J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, I think that they had great. R.J. Harvey only had 6 carries, but the guy ran for 70 yards.
He did.
He
I think
has
his numbers
explosive
skewed.
plays.
He got one long 50-yarder at the end of the game, and
But I'll take it.
You take it, but it's not consistent. I'd rather have the Dobbins line for his 4 yards carry. You could, man, if Dobbins had a good pair of knees on him, what would we be talking about with J.K. Dobbins? The guy is a great running back. Good Lord, why can't he? There's got to be a knee transplant surgery to get this guy some knees. But Harvey did. His long run was a good one. I just think over time that Tennessee's defense get a little wore down, and Tennessee's defense is not one of the elites in the league either. I am worried about the Denver Broncos offense. Other than Jeffrey Simmons, they have Snead. There's that defense is. I don't even know if it's middle of the pack. Like it's an okay defense. I thought the Broncos would put up more points. Bo Nix throws 2 interceptions. They're off a little bit. They get saved by the defense. The same thing that happened to him last year. The defense put the offense in good positions where they're able to get the ball, run it in. I'm a little worried if Bo Nix is going to do what he did last year, struggle in the beginning and get better over the season, or will that be it? Can that season hold on that long, or are we going to see a sophomore slump from this guy? That cannot bode well for them if Bo Nix has got to get better. I mean, they Cortland Sutton had a decent game, caught a touchdown there, but like I say, it's Tennessee's not one of the better defenses in the league, and he struggled. They struggled a little bit, yeah.
He did.
So that kind of worries me for Broncos fans.
There was a lot of week 1 sluggish going on, so I'm curious to see how the season continues to advance for all of these teams. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If the offense for the Denver Broncos can't start clicking, I'm not worried about that defense. They're ready to go. But the offense, Bo Nix does not need to have a sophomore slump in order for them to meet the expectations that a lot of people have on them this year.
Here's a stat about that defense, and it's not a good stat if you're a Broncos player fan. Last year, they faced 7 backups. That they won those games, 7 backups. They faced a rookie quarterback here. I know it's a good defense, but the games that they're facing better teams, the defense is struggling. I'm worried more about this defense. I want to see it go up against somebody good, that strong, powerful, and see what it does. Because if you go back last year and look at stats when they played some of their better teams, they struggled. They do what they do to the weak teams. They kick them while they're down. But last year they won 7 games against backups. So that defense, I want to see it get tested. And the Tennessee Titans was not going to test that defense for sure.
No, not at all. So, well, let's go and let's continue to talk about defense because the Green Bay Packers defense is thriving right now. Micah Parsons, although the guy only had 1 tackle and it was a sack, 2. The guy was everywhere. They lined him up everywhere on that defensive line. He was coming from the inside, coming from the outside, and they had no idea what to do on offense with this Detroit Lions team. Carlos, my big question for you, I mean, the Green Bay Packers get a huge win in Lambeau, 27-13 over a very, we thought Detroit Lions were going to be, continue to compete for the North. Not to say that they're not. It's week 1. Let's not overreact. But, Carlos, I have a question for you. Should the Lions be worried because of what we saw today with the absence of both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn?
Offensively, yes. I don't know if I like Ben Johnson knew how to use that personnel and knew Jared Goff's strengths. And man, he got the best of all that. It does worry me. I mean, Goff was 31 of 39. That's completion wise, that's great. It's
Yeah,
just when you only average 5 yards a pass, that's not great. That's a great rushing stat, 5.5, but not a passing stat. Like they've got to figure out. I saw today on the Lions offense, and I think the biggest, besides Ben Johnson, when their center retired Ragnu, that I immediately knew that was going to be a huge loss, and it was. You know, when Kelsey retired from Philly, they were able to move somebody over, and he fit in right away. The center they had now that did not. You can tell that he's got to call out the protections. When you lose a Pro Bowl caliber player like Ragnu, like that's just it was evident today, and they just weren't clicking. They couldn't
it's a
run the
big blow.
ball. Yeah, they couldn't run the ball, and if you're not going to be able to run the ball, then you're not going to win. I mean, it's very hard to win in the NFL not run it. But even when they passed it, I mean, Laporta had a decent game, but St. Brown wasn't. He didn't have a great game. But it's kind of what Jamar Gibbs, man. He gets 10 catches. I don't know if I want my running back to get 10 catches. I don't know if that's telling me I'm if at the end of the day and you don't tell me a score, but you tell me a running back has 10 catches, I'm probably going to be like, they probably didn't score a lot of points. And with Jamar Gibbs having 10 catches, it just shows that they're not getting the ball down on the field. They just paid Jamison Williams a ton of 27 million. I don't know. To me, that's a terrible signing. How do you give a guy 27 million and he had 1,000-yard season, and the seasons before that they don't even add up to 400. Mind blowing to me, but I guess
Well,
that's
he
why
was
I'm not a
injured
GM.
too.
Yeah, that's even worse. So you paying a guy?
No,
It's
I
like
get
me
yeah.
getting paid.
It's not adding value for sure, but
still, I wouldn't have paid the guy. He's only in his third year of his rookie contract. And you gonna throw 27 million at him? Well, he didn't live up to that 27 million today. Maybe he was spending it already. I mean, 4 catches for 23 yards, and you're my burner? Nah. Not good for them. You can tell that offense. In that, or maybe they're just Packers defense was that good, man. I mean, you added a guy like Micah Parsons, confidence levels have to go up. But
oh yeah,
I thought the weakness for the Packers was the secondary, and the secondary didn't have a bad game,
they
or
didn't.
maybe we just reevaluated this team wrong. But
They didn't have a bad game, and it wasn't like they were going up against a team that just had bad wide receivers. Because although you want to talk, down to Jamison Williams, at the end of the day, I think he's a good. He is a good burner. But you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, you have Sam Laporta, and then you also have 2 running backs that you have to account for. Now, when you take the run game out, like they did today, out of the equation, it definitely helps your secondary, for sure. But seeing Micah Parsons in the green and yellow, whew, man, he looked nasty out there on the
he
field.
did.
So
He looked mean.
he did look mean,
There was one time
dude.
I looked at him and I was going, he looks like the Hulk. He looks
Yeah,
mean.
dude, he looked nasty out there. So definitely, I know Green Bay fans are celebrating, but it's not just the defense that should be the Packers fans should be celebrating. This offense, man, Jordan Love, 16 of 22, 188 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josh Jacobs picked up right where he left off last year, 19 carries for 66 yards and a touchdown there at the end of the game. This offense was clicking, and I will state this, man, Matthew Golden. I mean, he looked all right out there. I think he only had like 1 or 2 catches, but I kind of liked what I was seeing from him when he was running his routes. So, but Romeo Dobbs ended up leading the team with 2 catches and 68 yards, and then Reed and Kraft had the 2 touchdowns there with Jordan Love. So, but the offense was everything to celebrate about.
It's very much of a Packer offense where that ball gets spread. Like that's why you never draft a fantasy wide receiver for Green Bay, because the ball gets spread around 5 or 6 guys every game. You just got to get lucky if you get the one guy. But no, yeah. I thought Golden looked good. I mean, he only had a couple targets, but I mean, like I said, they spread the ball around too much. They got good receivers, everywhere. So let's see. Great. It'll be be interesting to see what Green Bay does for the rest of the year. See if they can continue this. Parsons only going to get better. God, that division when Dallas traded there, those GMs were probably just so pissed. They already
they probably
so
made the phone
pissed.
call to Jerry, like, what the hell are you doing to
What
us
are you
right
doing,
now?
man?
Yeah. So, but hey, week 1 is in the books right now. The Buffalo Bills are trailing the Baltimore Ravens 17-10. They're in Buffalo. We'll actually be finalizing that game tomorrow. Yes, you heard that right. The Beard Zone will be back tomorrow. We're also going to be here on Wednesday. Don't miss our Wednesday episodes. That's going to be our college episodes. Carlos, you're the Miami guy. I'm the guy who's never been married to a college team. Does that change this season? Tune in on Wednesday to find out. So, but then we'll come at you on Friday. You'll get a break from us on Thursday. We'll come back on Friday to go ahead and finish up the week to do a look ahead at the games and also to do a recap of the Thursday night game. So you're going to have the Beard Zone Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, all at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on YouTube. And of course, follow us on all of our social media. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You know it. Links are down there in the description below. Carlos, week 1 is in the books. Before we go, are you hyped? Are you ready?
I am. No, not as a Dolphins fan. I'm not. I'm ready for it to be over. But I am ready for the rest of the season to see how all this stuff starts shaking out. We got week 1, like you say, the books, jitters are out, teams will settle down. I'm in for a long season. You're in for a long season, but mine is more of a soul searching and probably going to become an alcoholic. Yours is probably as long because you're going to go to the playoffs. Mine not so much.
Hey.
I'll be looking at the mock drafts very heavily this year as the season progresses, as you will be just looking where you'll be seated in the playoffs. But I will say one thing. Did anybody, have we tested Derrick Henry? Has the league tested this guy? Because
dude,
9, we're getting a little ahead, but 9 carries so far tonight and 123 yards and a touchdown.
I have the game on right over 30. Here. You were talking about your Miami woes, and I was just seeing Derrick Henry run for like 90 yards for a touchdown on my right-hand side. I'm like, holy crap, man, Derrick Henry.
This guy, man, what the heck? I don't know. I don't know. Good for him, though.
Yeah. Hey, we'll be recapping this Sunday night game. You'll hear it in tomorrow episode. So, and then we'll also be covering the Monday night game. Tomorrow's episode, we got some new segments this year. Guys, this is going to be a great year. Definitely tune in, hit that notification bell. We got new segments coming in. Maybe if you're an OG Beard Zone person, I think we're going to be bringing back some old segments that we had when we first started. We got the pop-off player of the week. We got the Golden Brick Award, which you're like, what's the Golden Brick Award? Where it was the guy who looked really shiny but ended up just being a bag of bricks for you in your fantasy.
Wait, are we doing Topless Tuesdays too? Because I don't know, man. I shaved.
We got the Twin Peaks special. We'll do it all, man. We will do it all. So,
hey, bro, how'd you know?
But tune in. Seriously, it's going to be a fun ride. We appreciate you guys. Hey, and this is just football. We're football fans. We have a lot of passion. We like to talk football. We want you to join us talking the football. Let's talk trash to each other. Let's lift each other up when our teams are down. Let's have a hell of a year. And until Tuesday, 1 p.m.